Hello students, how are you? Welcome to iTTV. I'm Miss Sonia, your Form 2 English tutor. Today's lesson is on listening and reading. Now, I would like you to listen to the letter I'm about to read. This letter is from a girl writing from her village. She is writing to her pen friend who has not visited the village yet. After you have listened, please answer the questions. Now listen, students. Dear Paul, how are you? I am Sakina from Kuala Terengganu. I am 14 years old and I am studying in Form 2 in a secondary school. The school is about 5 kilometers away from my house. I cycle to school every day. Paul, I live in a village. It is a fishing village which is situated quite near the sea. The scenery in the morning and evening is simply breathtaking. The sun rises and sets in hues and colors. You must witness it. There is so much greenery around the village. You can see coconut trees that sway in the soft wind to welcome you as you pass them. The breeze from the sea is cooling and refreshing. It is so peaceful, especially in the morning and evening. The only sound that you hear is the sea water beating against the beach. Believe me, that sound rings like music to your ears. You know, Paul, you can feel oxygen going into every part of you as you inhale the fresh air around you. Well, that is all for the time being. I shall describe my old cottage in the next letter. Now, can you please write back and tell me about your town? That is all. Bye, your new friend, Sakina. So students, you've heard that letter. Now, let's move on to the questions. Who wrote the letter? Who wrote the letter? Who did she write to? Who did she write to? Where does she live? Where does she live? How old is she? How old is she? How does she go to school? How does she go to school? Now, for the next exercise, you are to fill in the blanks with the right words. The scenery is blank. The sun rises and sets in hues of blank. The coconut trees blank in the soft wind. The surroundings are blank in the morning and the evening. The water beating against the beach rings like blank to one's ears. Now students, that was the 10 questions based on the passage. Let us move on to the answers. Who wrote the letter? Sakina. Who did she write to? Paul. Where does she live? In Kuala Terengganu. How old is she? 14 years old. How does she go to school? She cycles. Now for the next part of the exercise, you were to fill in the blanks with the right words. Let's check the answers. The scenery is breathtaking. The sun rises and sets in hues and colors. The coconut trees sway in the soft wind. The surroundings are peaceful in the morning and the evening. The water beating against the beach rings like music to one's ears. Now students, I'm sure that wasn't very hard. If you had paid attention to the passage, you would have been able to answer all those questions. Now let's go on towards our next exercise. Now I am going to read you a reply letter from Paul to Sakina. Pay attention. Dear Sakina, how are you? I was happy to receive your letter. I am in year 12. I will be sitting for my O-level examinations next year. Unlike you, Sakina, my home is right in the middle of Melbourne City. My school is several kilometers away. I do not know the exact distance because I travel by train. In Melbourne City, most of us prefer to get around by public transport because it is more convenient as there are train and bus stations in all the districts. My city is full of tall buildings scraping the sky. There is not much greenery around as Melbourne City is a concrete jungle. Everywhere you go, you see people moving around very quickly. They look as though they do not have time for anything, not even to eat. There are times I catch people biting into their burgers or sandwiches on the train. They must be in between jobs. The buildings are beautiful as they come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for the air here. It is so polluted that very often I feel as though something is choking me. Lastly, Sakina, the engine sound of cars and the blaring of horns are deafening. Why don't you post me a picture of your village as I am attaching a picture of my city? Well, Sakina, I don't want to bore you with my boring city any further, till I hear from you. Bye. Your friend from abroad, Paul. Now, that was Paul's reply to Sakina's letter. Let's do a small exercise based on this passage. Now let us read the instructions. It says, write true or false for the statements below. Paul is 12 years old. He will be sitting for his O-levels in the following year. Paul travels by train to school because it is far. Public transport is faster than a car. Paul lives in a city with many buildings. Now, answer the following comprehension questions. Why do people walk very fast in the city? Why does Paul choke often? Give evidence from the passage that people are very busy. Let us go through the answers. Paul is 12 years old. False. He will be sitting for his O-levels in the following year. True. Paul travels by train to school because it is far. True. Public transport is faster than a car. False. Paul lives in a city with many buildings. True. Why do people walk very fast in the city? They do not have time. Why does Paul choke often? The air is polluted. Give evidence from the passage that people are very busy. They eat on the train or buses. Now, students, we have come to the end of our lesson. Let us summarize what we learned today. We did a little bit on listening and reading. And we also learned a lot about the village life and the city life. Now, before I leave, I always leave you with a brainy quote. And you know what today's brainy quote is all about? Laughter. Always laugh when you can. It is cheap medicine. Do you know who said that? Lord Byron. He was a famous English poet. Thank you for watching iTTV. I'm Miss Sonia, your Form 2 English tutor.